In this video, I'm going to talk about the EC stack or the ECA stack, which is a stack used for fat loss. Why people use it is because it helps with fat loss, it raises metabolic rate, and essentially it really just does suppress your appetite completely, which is the best thing that I find about it. So it's the ECA stack. Many people do disregard the aspirin, including myself. So that would, in essence, just be EC stack, and there is not much of a difference. So if you only have access to ephedrine and caffeine, I would say you have the stack, and that's just going from my personal experience. And the stack is such that you increase the dosage and you ultimately lead to something like 24 milligrams of ephedrine and 200 milligrams of caffeine 3 times per day. And I'll talk about my experience. I don't like it because you are just overstimulated throughout the whole cycle. Does it work? I noticed it worked for the first couple of weeks or so, but if you're somebody that has a lot of weight to lose, it's a good idea to take it. But if you're somebody that is just dieting, like in my case, from like 12% body fat to maybe like a healthy 8% body fat, I would not recommend it, just because you will notice your energy levels just plummet. You may notice a little bit of bloating, which can be deceiving. And funny things happen when you're just overstimulated. You don't feel healthy overall. You won't even be able to sleep. And especially when you're under your let's say baseline body weight to what you're naturally used to, you are gonna be hungry, and anything that will disrupt your sleep, that will hurt your sleep quality, is essentially just not worth it. Like in essence, you're gonna have to take that. So if you take your 3 doses, let's say you take the ephedrine and caffeine once at 10 a.m., once at, let's say, 1 o'clock p.m., and then once at 4 o'clock p.m., you run that risk of the stimulants interfering with your sleep, which is one thing I don't like about it, is that I would have to take that last dosage later. But most importantly, it is just such a strong, this is such a stimulating stack. I cannot imagine why people would use it multiple times. Sure, I get it once to take it as a cycle just to see how your body responds, but to take that many stimulants, you're just not going to feel right. You won't be able to just realize and observe your natural emotions. There's a lot of issues that people may not realize that take place when you're taking stimulants. You're just always in a high. You're always just hyper focused, that you really just aren't yourself. You may be too logical with the way you're thinking and the way you're doing things. Overall, I would recommend that instead of taking an EC stack, you just take some caffeine. I would spread 200 to 400 milligrams throughout the day. Caffeine does a lot. It helps with lipolysis as well, which is the breakdown of fat. It will reduce your appetite, although not as significantly as ephedrine does, and it'll help you with your workouts as well. There's some studies that show caffeine will actually improve your insulin sensitivity, which is how well you respond to carbohydrates and other foods. The only reason I like ephedrine is because it is the best appetite suppressant. From clenbuterol to yohimbine to caffeine to like white kidney bean extract. I mean, I've tried so many things to really blunt my appetite, but ephedrine is by far the most effective. So the only times when I try that stack or I even use ephedrine is when I attend seminars. I attend a lot of seminars, and during seminars you need to be focused, and you don't always have time to go grab a quick bite. You'd rather, like me personally, for example, if there's a little break during the seminar, I would rather use that break to go mix and mingle and talk to people and introduce myself versus get a snack. So ephedrine will just help kill the appetite, and that is the one great thing about it. Hope that was helpful, guys. EC stack, I don't recommend you try it, but it will work, and it'll most effectively work for people who are maybe like 75 to 100 pounds overweight, because you just have so much fat to lose. But when you really get down to hitting below 10% body fat, there are other things which come into play. Hormones are very important, refeeds are important, and essentially just hitting those stubborn parts where you can read into it. There's some really good books on it. I read The Stubborn Fat Solution by Lyle McDonald, which really opened up my eyes to like the different receptors. I think they're alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors. So there's different receptors on your stubborn areas, which is why they can be harder to lose fat from. But once you learn about how to just how they work and you understand some techniques to get rid of that fat, then you're all set, and you don't really need the EC stack. See you guys next time.